if you look at the recording for the last class, I used third period. I think third period did a lot better job than first period. I know they did. They did a lot better job talking, and there was a lot more discussion in the last, last lesson in third period. And so you guys do the same for me today. You would be really frustrated if all I did was just chat to you guys, and you would be like, what is he doing? Well, I feel the same way when you guys chat to me. Just talk. It goes a lot better. And in a moment, when you go to breakout rooms, do that as well. So how can I use this as a tidy method? Well, I'll have the columns, but also I'm going to have rows. So we're going to go across as well. We're going to go across as well. So in this case, let's say this was a trial, and this trial had this dependent variable, this dependent variable, this dependent variable. So there's going to be both columns and rows. And remember, rows are going to be vertical. Rows are vertical. No, excuse me. What am I saying? Rows are horizontal. I'm crazy today. They're horizontal. And then the columns, just like a column in a building, that is going to be vertical. That's going to be vertical. And vertical, these columns are always going to be your variables. These are your variables. And these are going to be where we're looking for some sort of relationship. And I'm looking for a relationship between these variables. So what's the relationship between these variables? So in this case, this could be a plant, and what was the outcome for this plant if I was measuring trichomes, cotyledons, stomates for one particular plant? What is that relationship between that plant and those outcomes that we were measuring? So you're going to put things in columns and rows, and we call this the tidy method. When you do things in a tidy way, you can find them. So if you keep your room clean, you know where things are. If it's not tidy, you lose things, you can't find them. So we're going to use the tidy method. All right. Let me clear this really quick. I want to go back to my original spreadsheet. You guys can see the original spreadsheet now? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So when we're looking at this, this seems like it's in the tidy method, but it's not. It's not. There's something that would need to change for this to actually be the tidy method. And remember, we're going to put, it looks like we're definitely using columns and rows, but we've got to change something for this to actually work. So what I want to do is I'd rather let you guys just go in there, struggle with it really quick. When you play with it and see if you can figure out how could we put this into a format of using the tidy method where we have the independent variable and the different dependent variables. Right now, I would say we're about 70 to 80% there. We need to get a little closer so this would make sense. Remember, you need to have, you keep the titles at the top, but some of these titles might need to change. You might need to change something somewhere else. Another thing, well, I'm going to just let you guys play with it. Let you guys play. I'll put you guys in breakout rooms. Let's say, I don't know, try 5 minutes. See what you guys can do in 5 minutes. Talk to one another. Don't chat to each other. Really communicate and try to grow and think about this in the best way possible. And then we're going to use Data Classroom. We'll see what you guys have. We'll share. I'll show you exactly how to do it, but I'd rather you guys play with it and see if you can figure it out and kind of get your head in the game. And then we'll come back. Are there questions before I put you in there? What's up? It should, I think it says trichome data. If I go there, yeah, trichome data. The document, it's the one that you guys submitted. When you go in also, make a copy. Just make a copy. Whatever you do, make a copy. Don't use the actual data here to start messing with it. Just make a copy. One person use it, and then one person share their screen, make a copy, and then you guys try to talk them through it. How would you do this using the tidy method? So I'm going to drop you guys in breakouts. I'm gonna put you in a little larger breakout this time, a little bit bigger, so there's more heads working together. And we'll just have 5 minutes. You don't have to get it right. And so, in fact, I suspect 1 or 2 groups out of 5 will get it right. And let's go. Share your screens. When I go in there, I'll look for you guys. I'm going to jump in just to be a fly on the wall. That hurts. Landry, you need some help?
Also, I can't get my document open because I've already submitted it.
Okay,
Does
you need me
anyone-
to unsubmit?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. All right, no worries. Yeah, tell them I'm unsubmitting. Hey, you guys, tell your group members that I'm unsubmitting so they can get to the document. Everybody will have it unsubmitted in this end. It won't let me unsubmit a couple of kids. It's really weird.
Y'all can see this, right?
Oh, yes, we can. Thank you.
Caleb, I unsubmitted yours, so you can use yours. Grandy, I unsubmitted yours. Keaton, I unsubmitted yours.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, I could open it because I pressed the click here.
Huh. It's weird. Won't let me unsubmit a couple of kids.
Oh, and be sure you.
Ali, let's just let you in. Is it kicking you out, Ali? So do you remember what room you were in? You don't? Were you ever, huh? I don't see you at all. I just let you in. Oh, it's saying you're loading. Yeah. That sucks. All right. You never were in a room? All right. Boom, there you go.
Be like over here.
Yeah, the data I think would be the dependent variable because it changes.
Good, you guys are talking. Olita, you guys are talking.
I'm on my phone. The Wi-Fi.
I'm so angry. Ollie, were you able to join the group? You should be able to join. I dropped you in group 1. Maximize your screen. When you maximize your screen, you should see it. The Zoom call. Look. Yes, I'm recording this. Are you guys talking?
Yes.
Okay, so y'all have ideas yet?
Like making the values in numerical order so it's more cohesive.
Okay. Remember, you gotta have independent variable and then your dependent variables. That's what your columns are. That might help. I'm gonna jump to another room real quick and check on that. You guys, all your microphones are off. You guys have to talk your way through this. You won't chat your way.
We just wanted to specifically know like what you wanted us to do with our given data, like once we're done making the copy.
Okay, so when you try to get into a tidy method, try to rearrange this data into independent variables and dependent variables. What do you have? Where is the independent variable on this? That's the big problem that you have. I'll go ahead and give you a tip. What's your independent variable? That's the big problem. That you're
Wouldn't our independent be would it be the plants themselves? The observations?
The observations are going to be your dependent variables, what you observed. Your independent variable is the plants, and you're observing parts of those plants. But what if you,
So
you
it
know,
would be the cartilodon, the trichomes, and the stomates.
those are your dependent variables, the
Um,
changes in those. What's the independent variable?
Just
If
the
you
plants?
go back and look at that the IV CDV chart that you wrote down, you might be able to figure it out that way. I'm going to jump to another room. Giving you guys 10 minutes because I had to unsubmit.
So if we're doing right now is.
Just trying to tidy it. Get that in time. You guys have any success figuring this out yet?
He said tidy.
No, we're kind of confused.
Refer to your IV CDV chart that we used at the very beginning of class. I was like, when you start an experiment, always start there. That might help. And I'm going to close this in about 3 minutes. I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes because I had to unsubmit. It's better to start thinking. That way you're at least kind of intrigued.
What did you say? What chart?
Huh?
What chart?
We wrote down a chart 2 class periods ago using the IV CDV method. Oh. Okie dokie. Anybody think that they figured it out? Did anybody think that they figured it out? If so, they can volunteer and I will take a look at it and see. Okay, so let's see. I would always start here. When you get kind of lost, you try to go back to where the last place it was that you knew where you were. This is a really ingenious way of kind of keeping things. You weren't able to edit your sheets? I unsubmitted them and then you could make a copy. I did, there's only 2 people that I wasn't able to unsubmit. I don't know why. It was Ashmead and Johnson. I could not get you guys unsubmitted for some reason. But you guys can make it. You can take a copy from somebody else that has it. They can share and then, you know, that link to with you and then you can make your own copy. It's no big deal. All right, so I need to go back to where we started, right? So we want to think about what is our independent variable. Our dependent variables are already given to you. I can see those are going to be density of trichomes and then gene linkage. We were trying to see how cotyledons, if cotyledons were linked. So we had those measurements. And then we also had the measurements of stomates. The stomates, you know, and those units, I think for that was the number of per square centimeter, I think what the, and this was going to be width in millimeters. All right, and then our independent variable is going to be the selecting these plants, but how would I put that? What could I write in that column? Remember, we're going to put these things in columns. We're going to put these in columns. We've got our 3 dependent variables, which are already given to you. But what about our independent variable? What could I write in those columns to indicate this? This control group down here might help you. What could you write? What could you put there in this column? Don't be afraid to talk. Yeah, I mean, you can see what my independent variable is. It's selection, right? We know it's selection, but what could I put? Look at this. This might help you. Remember, you always got to compare things to your control group. So what could we put there?
You could label if they were or were not selected for, depending on where in the experiment they were done.
Okay, which ones were under selection?
Everything after the P generation.
Okay, you're right. So what could we put in those cells? Also remember, you're always going to, in these columns, this is always going to be numeric data. This is always numeric. This does not have to be numeric. So what could we put in there? The IV does not have to be numeric. It's a category. And you're on the right track, Keaton, for sure. What can we put in that column?
Could you put like the different generations that come after the parental generation?
Okay, cool. So what would those generations be?
F1 and F2.
Ding dong, ding dong. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let me show you how to do it. You guys got it. So let me get there. I'm gonna go back. Take me back to the beginning where we met. Ooh. All right, so let's go. I'm going to open this document again. Here's the assignment. You guys can see this, yes? You see the spreadsheet again? Yep. All right, here we go. All right, so I've got some things here. This looks great for, again, putting it into your IA or any kind of lab when you're just trying to show data, but not when you're going to make a graph, when you're going to analyze it. So I need to get rid of a couple things. I mean, this P generation is what we want. I'm going to go ahead and put this P because this is my control group, and I'm going to put a P right here. Whoa, why did it do that? What was that? I'm going to put a P. There we go. And I probably can drag that down. Probably it will copy it. I don't know if that'll copy or not. Yep, it did it. And I did that just like I did last class. I can just drag in the bottom right corner. I'm going to do that one more time so you see. I typed a P in there, this little box. When I come over this bottom right corner, I just left click on that and drag it all the way down. Now I changed those all to P. So this is my, remember my variables. This is my control group, which I have to compare my experimental group to. So I'm going to get rid of all this other, but before I do that, let me just go back. I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm not messing with you guys' original. So I'm going to make a copy. And we'll call it 1A, 1A. Okay, so I'm not gonna start perverting the copy that you guys have to work with. I'll mess with my own. So I'm gonna change this to P. I'm gonna go over here to the bottom right corner, drag this all the way down, done. Beautiful, I've got that set. I wanna get rid of all these other calculations. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of this. And I'm going to delete it. Just click the delete button. I got F1 here. I don't need that there. And this is in my column. This is going to really mess things up. So I'm just going to delete an entire row. To delete an entire row, you just go over this and you'll left click. Excuse me, it's actually right click on this and delete row. I want that out of there. It's gone. Good, I got that out of there. But I've got all these other empty rows. I'm going to go ahead and get those out. So I'm going to go ahead and delete every one of those. Delete row. Delete row. And then I'm going to delete this row. Now, what do I put? What do I put in here? So what was that, Manas, you said that we should put in here, this next one?
The F1 generation.
Just put F1, F1. And I'm gonna put that capital F, capital. Well, I just had those 10 plants, right? I'm just not gonna add, there's those 10 individuals. And so I'm getting rid of those. Now where it says plant 1 through 10 of my F1s, I'm going to change that to just where it says F1. Now I'm going to click, I'm going to cover that little square, drag it down, and there it has a problem. And I kind of figured it was going to do that. I'll have to actually manually type every one of these because if it thinks 1, it thinks, okay, it needs the next one you're going to have is going to be 2 and then 3. Good grief, what's wrong with me? So you're going to have to actually manually type in there. I know it's a pain in the butt, but that's what you got to do. And this is, again, the tidy method. We're cleaning things up. I'm going to make it to where the computer knows what to do with all these numbers and all these letters. I need to get everything that's not necessary out of the way. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to see if I can delete all of those at the same time. I might. Let's see. Delete rows. It did. So here, I'm going to start with F2. This is my 3rd generation, my F2s. Capital F2. I'm going to have to do that for every single.
Mr. Pope, you could probably just cut it and then just you could probably just copy and paste it. Like
You think so?
copy the one cell and then just paste it.
I don't know. When you get in there, see if you could do that. It might work. You try to do it and it didn't work. Two. Get rid of this.
It does work.
It does?
Yeah.
All right. When you guys get in there in a minute, you knock yourself out with it. I'm going to clean up all these other locations as well. Somebody else in the chat box wants to say something to me? Just go ahead and say it. All right. Now I've got these empty cells up here too. You've got to make sure that there's nothing that's up here that could potentially mess this up. So we're going to delete this row. I'm going to delete. This is clear row. I want to delete that row. So I've got no blank cells, no blank cells at all. I'm going to change this. You can call this, instead of observations, we'll call this our generations. Generations. Nice. So I've got my generations, my P generation, which their parents weren't under selection. So all these phenotypes, no selection pressure that produced these. We bred, it looks like, the ones with the greatest number of trichomes. It was probably this one and probably this one. Those were the two parents that gave rise to all of these. And then on the F2s, looks like we probably bred this one and this one together is what the kids did. And it gave rise to all these F2s here. Actually, those are my F1. No, those were my F. That's this one and probably this one. And that gave rise to all these F2s. Those were the two survivors. They took the top 10%. I want to keep all my decimal places the same. So I've got a problem. All these decimal places, they need to be consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and get these decimal places and change them as well. Add one decimal place. Looks good. There are no units in here. There's no units. My units are up here. This is number of trichomes per leaf. I probably could go ahead and put, they could have put in there the number per square centimeter. They could have done that here as well, but there's no units in these cells. These are just numbers. That's going to be important. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys back in a breakout room, and I need you guys for one person to get this done. You guys will be faster than me because you were born with a keyboard in your hand. So put you back in those breakout rooms. First, I'm going to look. Yes, it works. Somebody was confirming. And here we go. Get one of you guys get that set up.
Mr. Pope.
Yes,
what do we
ma'am.
do about the standard deviation and stuff we figured out?
We're gonna calculate that again. I mean, make a copy. Just make a copy of the document that you're working with. Like I did, it says copy of trichome data. Just make a copy of yours. Okay? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. All right. I'm gonna open up your rooms. Let's see, breakout rooms. They're open. All right, I'm gonna use you guys in here to tell me when you guys are ready to bring me back. Ali, have you been able to stay on the call? Huh? You're not? Why don't you look on with somebody if you need to? What do you mean? You're welcome to look on with somebody. Maybe you could sit at this table behind me and look on with her. Yeah, even if you put generation, that's fine. I mean, I would just.
No, there's a, oh, okay. Or like we're supposed to be changing it.
Yeah, make a copy. Use a copy. Use a copy. You went to breakout rooms, Diego.
I got it too. Oh, okay. And then we changing that to the-
Thank you for talking, Caleb, to your groups. You're using your microphone, right?
Oh, I was just.
Well, what you're doing with your microphone on would be awesome. It would be so helpful. So people hear it, they see it, they hear it, they do it, they'll remember it. It's super important for people to get all these different ways to interface with this. They're hearing that, they're thinking about it. Where's my copy? This is copy 1A. Save.
Hey, Kevin, how do you select multiple rows? Like, when I click on it, it's how it's. Oh.
Hey, Brianna. Hey, Brianna. What room are you in?
For the graph,
For the data tables, yeah, the spreadsheet. What
I
room?
was with, I don't remember the room, but I remember I was with Randy.
Randy? She was not in your group? She says no, you weren't in there. What? Yeah, not today. Or were you here at all first period?
I wasn't because I
Oh.
just got back from the orthodontist.
Oh, okay. All right, now you're going to group 5. There you go. All right, I'm gonna go check.
Add like another decimal to the number.
All right, can I take a look and see what you guys have so far?
Yes.
All right, let's see. You see that C row 12? You need to delete row 12.
Okay.
You need to delete the other row. Yeah, because if you have empty rows, it's going to freak out. Okay, I think otherwise you guys are ready. Yeah, you're ready. All right, I'm gonna go to the next group. Well, all right, you guys show me what you have. We're checking on groups to see if we can come back and if we're ready. Okay, you need to change observations to generations. All right, and then you've got mean, standard deviation, standard error. You're gonna have to delete all the, oh, whoa, hold on a second. Is this a copy or not?
The copy. Do I need to make a copy?
Yeah, make a copy.
Okay.
make this a copy. Try not to use the. Use that one, yeah. All right, and then I'm gonna come check in a second. Mean, standard deviation, standard error, all those rows, you want to get rid of all that. And then all that text on the side. You want to delete those rows. Yep.
Like after we're done.
Right click, delete rows, there you go, boom. All right, do that together, clean up, any of this stuff on the right, get rid of that. I'll be back in a sec. Actually, I'm not, I'm gonna come. All right, somebody share with me. Let me see what you have. Okay. Oh, okay. So a couple things. You need to delete. See where it says P generation at top. Delete. So you're going to delete row 1, and then you're going to that space that you have for row 3. You got to delete that space. Can't have any of that. All right. Then delete row. Now it's 2. Delete that. Beautiful. And all this over here where it says mean, median, mode, all that crap, or mean, standard, you got to get all that stuff deleted. All right. Done. We are good. All right. You guys share with me what you guys ended up with. All right. Change observations to generations. And then where it says mean, standard deviation, standard error, delete all of that. There you go. All right, you guys are ready to. Awesome. Okay. Looks good over here. Let's see what you guys. Can you scroll up so I can see the top? Holy crap, you guys are ready. Excellent. We're coming back. Boy, I got a lot of mess over here.
This is right.
Let's see, pick one. Easy breezy lemon squeezy.
It's just up here. It was definitely working fine downstairs. It's just downstairs. Where the Wi-Fi's bad.
Crazy. I'm crazy for being so lonely. Crazy for crying. Okay. Yeah, we're done. Hey Caleb, have you already jumped out of there?
Oh, no.
When jump out and tell me, what do you see when I'm sharing my screen?
Um,
Nothing?
nothing. I just see you.
Big nothing.
copy, like the mean and the standard error stuff, and then we have this copy.
Yeah, this is just your play around copy. So you're manipulating copy. Ask that question when everybody gets in the room. Ask it in 10 seconds. Thank you for being so verbal, Caleb. Honestly, I'm not getting it. What was your question, Caleb?
I was asking if we're supposed to have like two different copies, the mean and the standard error, and the other one is just supposed to have like what we just did.
Yeah, and a lot of kids already submitted the previous one. The people that hadn't submitted that one yet, yeah, you need to hang on to the original copy. But the one that we're working with now is just something that we're going to work with within Data Classroom. So there is a link here, and I'm back at our today's lesson, well, Tuesday's lesson. And we're going to open Data Classroom, or at least I am. Watch what I do carefully. And there's one way to make a mistake. I know it's been a while since you guys have used this. And I don't want you to make this mistake, so I'm going to open it fully. See, am I sharing my screen? Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
You can see
Yes.
this? All right, perfect. Now, I'm already logged in. I'm going to go ahead and log out. So you guys, I use this quite often. I analyze lots of stuff, including your assessments. So I'm going to log in. Now, when I log in, there's different ways of logging. You should sign in with Google, but you need to be logged into your Uplift account because everybody is already, members of my class on Data Classroom. But make sure you're logged in with Google. That is your actual Google account through Uplift. And I've already added you to it, or you added yourself to it a while ago. So I'm going to go ahead and upload. You can see here's my Uplift account. That's the one I'm going to use. I have two accounts with this. And now I'm going to analyze that data. Now, when we go to the import function, the import button is this button here. I'm not sure what color it is, but it says a data set from your own data. So I'm going to do that. Now, I saved a copy of what I had done, and all you do is get that link. And I'm going to use this is spreadsheet from a computer or your Google Drive. I'm going to use my Google Drive. And I use the fetch button. So it's the fetch button. So I'm going to fetch it. I'm going to put that link in here. Nice. I have that spreadsheet. It says in order to permission Google Drive, yeah, I'm going to log in. There's a question in the chat box. Do we have to? Yes, you have to use the tidy method for your IA data. If you don't, you'll never get it analyzed. This is why I'm showing you this, so you know how to do it when the time comes. There is going to be a time that comes, and I'm saving this video, and I'll put it on my YouTube account, and you can always come back and look at the tidy method if you want to. So I'm gonna say done. I'll see how I've got these 3 check marks. That tells me I'm ready to do this, that everything in my data set is fine. Each column has a heading. All the data table, data in the table has been created. There's no blank spaces. The columns are short and can be easily used for labeling. There's nothing but numerical data in some of the columns, and there's categorical data in the other. So I'm gonna say, okay, this is good. If not, it's going to tell you that if there is a problem, you can click on where it says learn more, and it can tell you what your problem is and how to solve it. So I'm going to say, okay. Now here's all my data, and this is going to be great. I want to make a graph. Let's say because I need to analyze this. Awesome. You're right on time. This is where I wanted to be at this time. So generations, again, generations, this is going to be my independent variable. Independent variables are going to be categorical. Have to make these categories. They're not numeric. I mean, P is not a number. F is not a number. So it's a category. Make that category. This is going to all be numeric data. So I'm going to change my dependent variables to numeric data. So you can't have an IA where you're looking for a yes, no question. It has to be something you can actually measure. All right, I'm going to show, and I want a scatter plot. Now, when I click scatter plot, it's going to be like, what are you doing here? It's okay. Over here where it says generations, this is my independent variable. That's my X variable. It's going to be on the X. It's going to be on the X axis. This generation should be on the X axis. It's your independent variable. So I'm gonna click X and then Y. Now, let's check this out. I'm gonna look at one thing. I actually wanna look at trichomes. That's what was actually under selection. Actually under selection. Oh, wow, look at that. We were selecting 4, or when I say we, these students were selecting 4 trichome density. Love it, and you can see that there is an increase. So glad I saved these kids' data. I have my error bars, but these are standard deviation. I'm gonna change this to standard error. There we go. There's my error bars. Man, that's nice. Let me look at this for a second. So I'm gonna go to annotate and draw this. So look at this relationship with an increase in generation. And it's super linear too. God, that's linear as all get out. But the thing that's important is, remember, look at my error bars. My error bars do not overlap. So even from the P generation to F1 generation with extreme selection, even in one generation, there was a statistical difference right off the bat. These error bars aren't overlapping. And check that out, same thing here. Right off the bat, there was this just awesome relationship. And the cool thing is, remember all that we went through to, we want, oh, what's our independent, standard deviation and standard error? Well, this will do it for you in a jiffy. Done. There it is. It gives you the mean, gives you the standard deviation, and it gives you the standard error. All of that is right there. And if I want to put that on my graph, I can put it right there under my graph. And you want to do that for your eyes, for sure. You want to have that. And it does it all for you in a flash. You click this camera, you can copy it, and you can put it in whatever document you want. Whatever document you want, you just copy it. Really nice and easy. But that was one independent variable. Will trichome density increase? And it does. It's easy. It's easy to see. I love how it has your axes labeled, except they need to put their units over here. Number of trichomes on the first leaf, they should have put the density, so number of per square centimeter. What was our other dependent variable they were? Because these kids are working in as partners, so they had to have 2 dependent variables. What was the other dependent variable? Who can tell me that? Who can tell me that? What was the other dependent variable?
Wasn't it gene linkage?
Yeah, so are they linked? So if they were linked, you would, if you saw a positive correlation here, you would see a positive correlation in the other ones. So let's get rid of this. Let's go back to the drawing board. So I'm gonna get rid of trichomes. I'm gonna go over to Collodon and see if we see the same thing. Oh no. Nope. There's not a significant, there's no correlation at all. None whatsoever. I mean, this is flat. These error bars all overlap. So there you go. No, the answer to that question, we know for sure trichomes and cotyledon width, number of trichomes and cotyledon width are not linked. They're not linked because one is a positive correlation, the other is just flat. There's no correlation whatsoever, not negative either. It's not there. So they got an answer to that question. Let's see, clear all drawings. And now let's get rid of that. Let's check out stomates. Stomates, I've got X is my independent variable on the X axis. Put my Y variable. Holy smoke. Might be a negative correlation here. Maybe we need to look at it a little more closely. What do you think, baby? Yours looks different? Oh, you're already analyzing it with Data Classroom? Good for you. It looks like there might be a negative correlation. Maybe. Let's see if my error bars actually overlap. Oh, excuse me, the bottom one. Yeah, they're overlapping here. Yeah, no correlation. No statistical difference. And I see here the mean is 4. So it's 4 And then we've got so 4 plus 4.1 plus or minus 2.2 essentially. So essentially it could be anywhere from 3.8 to 4.2 in this first generation. And on the F1s, it's 3.7. Is the mean is 3.7 plus or minus 0.26. Plus or minus 0.26. Well, I already know if I just increase that, adding, that's going to be almost 4. We already see that that's going to exceed that. So there's no statistical difference between these groups at all. They're all the same. Nice. Now what you guys are going to do is the same thing. You're going to import your data into Data Classroom, and you're going to do the same thing. And you're going to do that in those breakout rooms. Are there questions before you do this? No, your data should look exactly the same because we're using the same data. We're using the same raw data. I don't know.
Oh, wait, I know why.
Are there any questions?
What do you want your y-axis to be?
Well, you're going to use different y-axes. You can use any of them.
Okay, it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to jump in your room and I'm going to check these. I'm going to give you guys about 7 minutes to get this up. I think you guys can get this done in 7 minutes. And I'm going to jump in there and say, oh, nothing. I'm just going to come in and check. And this is just for me to still see, do you have this skill set? Everybody's tripping about, is this a grade? No, this is for you just to learn for learning's sake, because you're going to need to use this next year. And after reading all of your submissions, I realize that you guys need a little more help on how to think about doing science. So I'm trying to spend some time using selection. I knew I was like, how can I show them how to do IA stuff and still be looking at evolution? And I had kids that use evolution as their IA last year. So I was like, here we go. I've got their data. Let's do this. All right, here we go. So you're going to go back to your rooms. Boom. Do what? Do what, Liam? Oh yeah, that was. I speak in antonyms. If I say you're ugly, you're beautiful, right? And so I say always an ugly kid. And that little girl painted that for me and gave it to me at the end of her freshman year. And she has the major kingdoms of life. See, like there's a plant growing on the fish's head. So it's got the plant kingdom, animal kingdom with the snake and fish. They're my 2 favorite animals. She's got a fungus up there. So the fungi kingdom, and she says the microscopic kingdoms. She's actually on one of the pictures downstairs. The little girl that's drawing, it looks like she's drawing on the glass. You know what I'm talking about? She's the one who painted that. Abuelito, you can't join the group through your phone. Do me a favor, jump in, take your chair, put it behind Caleb and look through Caleb. Just so you see people do it. Take me back to the beginning. Is it? Who's doing it in y'all's group? Who's doing it in your group? He may need some help, so y'all really pay attention.
Like I tried to share mine, but it wouldn't. Kevin, can you share yours? Because when I try to share mine, the Zoom starts messing up.
Yeah.
But who shared it?
Oh man, y'all already did it. Love this. Who's sharing their screen?
It's me.
George. George, good job, George. Let somebody else do it. If y'all did it that fast, give it to somebody else to do.
All right.
Good job. Man, hey, if you guys already get it done, give it to somebody else to do. All right, who's sharing the screen, yo? I mean, y'all. So I got it. You guys got to share your screen. Come on, Monis, whomever's doing it. Did the group see you do that?
Yeah, they did.
All right.
We just closed it. I was like,
All right.
we're gonna wait for you to come back.
Cool. Let somebody else. Give it to somebody else to do.
Okay.
I'll come back and check in a second. It's not taking y'all long to do this at all. Awesome. That's Diana. All right, Diana, beautiful. Give it to somebody else to do. I'll come back and check in a second.
Okay.
All right, who's sharing their screen in here?
I am. Here it is.
All right, okay, coolio. Now you're using Carladons. Beautiful. Good job. And you got down all the way to, oh my God, I love it. You make my life better. All right, give it to somebody else to do. I'll come back and check on them. All right, who do we have? We have Randy Rosenbaum. Beautiful. So you got it, Randy. All right, give it to somebody else to do. I'll come back and check on those. I'm going to get 2 people at least in every group. All right, who else? So last time I came in here, I think it
Everyone
was-
in this group has already done it.
oh, everybody's done it?
Yes, sir.
That's what they said.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Give me a second. All right, here's mine. I was playing around with the different y variables, and I was playing around with standard deviation and standard error.
Yeah, you can also play around. See that little thing that says that has a distribution with the magnifying glass over here? Yep, click on that sucker. Now calculate an ANOVA and see if you can get a p-value. See what the p-value is. Boom, and then change your variables from trichomes to something else and see what see what the p-value is. I bet it's way different.
That's neat.
A p-value of 1, so there's no correlation at all. That's so funny.
I mean,
They're
these
the
standard
same.
error are pretty much evenly lined.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty funny. All right. I'm gonna have to close.
I was trying to press delete and I accidentally pressed the off button on my computer.
It's all right. I'm bringing everybody back anyway. Oh, look, there's Sarah Marino driving a car. Sarah, when did you turn into a corgi? Oh, look at Daniel Rosales. He's a dog too. Nothing. You're just learning. I'm about to show you what you're, well, depends if you did or didn't submit in the last class. I'm about to show you. All right, here we go. Okay, beautiful children. Let's let everybody pile in here in 10 seconds. Sarah Marino brought something up to me last night. Sarah was texting me and she says, Mr. Pope, did you realize you were crazy? And I said, yes. She goes, do you realize you're a moron? I said, no. She goes, you are. And so I need to point something out. Yeah, that's what Sarah Marino said. Isn't that me? Now, yeah, I actually have a little bit of a beef with you guys. I had a typo, a terrible typo on my title for my intro to my lesson last class, and no one said anything. It was so ugly. I got so embarrassed in third period, and you guys let me leave it up there. All right, there was a problem with the coevolution test. Quiz. You guys remember when it went to math? It's like it went to a math where you had to, write in some sort of math formula instead of it being in, like, see where it says math. So I've got everybody's, I'm gonna delete this question. It is deleted. Some people, I need you guys, if you did not, and you can check Power Schools, many of you guys did not get a grade for this. It was my fault, but I never went back and told you, hey, you know, I know I told you to do it in the evening, but go in there and if you don't have this grade, if you've got a 50 for it, well, then take it. It's open and you should be able to take it. So you need to do this. And this was from 3 class periods ago now. It's from the 26th of April. Also, for testing, hold on, Ollie didn't submit that. He just missed what I was just saying. So there's one thing you've got on the 26th of April, you didn't take that quiz. You need to take it. You need to take it. There's an exit ticket for the 26th of April. And you'll find it on there. You need to take that. The other thing is if you did not submit this for a grade last time, where you have to go in here and just simply calculate standard error. If you still haven't done this, go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do this. And there's a few of you guys that don't have a grade. You can go to Power School and see if you do. Now, next, I think it's next week on Tuesday, you guys, that's the 10th, I believe. Isn't that correct? The 10th is Tuesday? The Monday is the 10th. That is a day for your revisions. Go ahead and start submitting your proposals. If you're ready for your revisions, go ahead and start doing that. If you're not, then go ahead on Monday now, and you can submit it by Monday. I'm going to start reading those in earnest. This is the link you're going to use, the IA revised proposal. That's what you're going to use. And I'm going to see, has anybody submitted already? Chastity has already done it. She's the first one. I'll get yours read tonight, kiddo. Otherwise, you guys be good. Play in the street. Have fun. I'll stay on here if anybody has a question.
Bye, Mr. Pope.
Bye. You guys be good.
Bye, Mr. Pope.
On
data, do we?
it's probably convergent evolution, convergent coevolution, Turner on Power School.
Mr. Pope, for the
Yeah, what's up? Speak up, baby. I can barely hear you. I can hear you. I can't hear you, baby. Say again.
Do we resubmit the TRICOM data?
Did you already get a grade for it?
I think so.
Yeah, then don't worry about it. No, you don't have to resubmit.